Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. This review covers the Ford AeroMax 132 scale snap kit from Revell. It's model kit number 85-1975. It was originally released in 2012 and has since been released as 85-1232, but it's essentially the same kit. It's a skill level 1 for the novice builder, and it features snap-together assembly in 52 parts. There's no paint or glue required, although once in a while a little touch of glue will help things go together well. There's a little flash, so the pieces fit together pretty good, and the sprue stems will need to be trimmed off with a sandpaper stick. You could build this thing in probably half an hour, molded in color. It's got chrome and clear pieces and some colorful stickers for the graphics. It's a great kit for the novice builder or the youngster. On the other hand, if you want a good looking display, you'll need to add some detailing, like a complementary body color that accents the interior and exterior, and you can use some paint with silver pens or foil. There are some parts that need to be adjusted, and the build sequence can be deviated for finishing a little more detail into the kit. But it's a basic snap-tight kit, and we'll put her together and show you how. Here are the contents of this kit, and the basic draw for this is to provide a model that a youngster can build pretty much unsupervised, but it's also some great subject matter with the Ford AeroMax semi-tractor. After examining the contents, I noticed that the frame had a twist in it. So here you're looking down the length of the frame with a ruler clamped to the back end, and the straight red line in the foreground shows how much the frame twist is. Sometimes this happens, but because this is the base for the model, it has to be corrected. I tried some hot water, but it wouldn't soften, so I clamped the back end at the ruler, grabbed the front end, and twisted the frame cautiously using a blow dryer to soften the plastic, and held it in place a few minutes, then gave it a cold water bath, and now it stays in the correct position. First, I assembled the fifth wheel parts. Those are 14 and 15, using a little Model Master liquid plastic adhesive to make sure that they would stay together when the plate is pivoted, and then I set it aside to dry. This is a bit out of sequence for the assembly, but as you'll see, that can happen due to the fact that I want to paint this part instead of just putting it together in the molded color. Then I assembled all the parts together that need to be painted black, and I mounted them just off the surface of the cardboard so that the air can get underneath. And the tires and the parts to the right were painted flat black, and those to the left were painted semi-gloss black. And you'll have to flip the gloss black parts over as well as the mud flaps to coat both sides of those. The wheels only have one side because they're in halves, so you won't need to turn those over. Next, assemble the main cab and the fairings. Part 22 is not yet attached here, but I do this first to get the body painted and provide some extra time to dry before handling it. So first I shorten the mounting pins in the body's top, that's part 19, to ensure that it would seat fully, and used a little liquid cement to keep it in place. And I did the same thing to the rear cab wall, which is part number 22, and held them together until the glue set. Now remove any minor flash with a hobby knife and some sandpaper, and then give the parts a cleaning with warm water and dish soap and let them dry. Assemble and mount the parts that are body colored together and give them a couple of coats of sandable primer, and then smooth it out. I used a Duplicolor light gray, and I started with the inside of the cab because you can see inside there through the open windows. Now prop the parts up off the painting surface, and when they're dry, sand off any minor imperfections. Wash and dry them in warm soap and water as before, and then repeat the process using your color coats. I chose a light yellow color to complement the stickers here, and it's Model Masters 28102 called Phoenician Yellow to complement those stripes. And within an hour you spray the parts with a clear coat after you've got the base coat done. I used some Duplicolor engine enamel clear coat, and now they can be set aside to dry thoroughly before handling. I used some Sharpies to detail some of the trim and things on the cab. The cab's windshield and the surround of that are black, where the rubber is used to mount the windows, and the windshield wiper arms are silver. So I colored the wiper arms silver first, then the wiper blades black along the windshield frame, and the cab's side windows were easier to paint with some flat black bottle paint. Now we can add the window glass to the cab to complete that subassembly. It snaps firmly into place and doesn't require any glue, which is a good thing for windows. I had the same considerations for the interior of the cab as far as getting that painted early enough to give it time to dry. So although you can get a good look at it, you can still see portions of the interior through the windows. So I decided to add some detail to that too, and started by placing some foil on the sleeper bed to keep the sheets nice and white, and trimmed it to follow the shape. I then sprayed the interior with a tan color. This is Krylon brown boots satin, and then removed the foil soon after to reveal the sheet and set it aside to dry. After the base coat was dried, I finished off the interior by adding some khaki green wash to the bed blanket and matching pillow to give it some texture, and I then added the instrument panel sticker to the dash and the silver horn button to the steering mast and pressed it into place. Then I painted the shifter arm and selector button silver and installed it into the floor slots. Now you can press the interior into the cab and snap it there. The chrome parts took some time to work with because they had some quality issues, as seen by the warping on the exhaust stacks and the fact that the parts represent lenses and they need to be painted the appropriate color. So after you remove the exhaust stacks from the tree, gently bend them back into shape using your hands, and use a little flat black on the exhaust tips to represent some exhaust ports there. To make the grille stand out, it'll take some detailing. Even the Ford oval needs to be painted blue because there's no sticker for the kit for that. And I thinned down a little Ford blue, and after it started to set, I rubbed the blue off of the chrome lettering to let that shine through. And the horizontal bars of the grille were painted with a thinned flat black wash. That's 50-50 paint and thinner. Then the horizontal bars that are raised, I wiped that thin paint off of there so that the chrome would shine through. And the headlights, those vertical lines over there, they were painted white. Finally, the turn signal lenses and the top marker lights were painted with some Tester's Turn Signal Amber. That's paint color number 2723. The front bumper had been previously painted flat black, and now it's time to chrome the top half, and so it's shown here with an aptly sized piece of bright chrome bare metal foil. Just press it into place and smooth it out, and then remove the upper portion with a sharp hobby knife at the seam, and paint the depressions amber too for signals. As I mentioned, the roof lights will get some the amber paint treatment too, and there's a couple of other side markers here that need those as well. Now the amber is on the front side of those side marker lights there, and then you flip those over and you'll paint the back side with some transparent red paint, some stoplight red, and also include the tail lights and the remaining cab lights to finish up using that. I used a Tamiya Clear Red 4630 paint for that issue. Taking a look at the wheels, you'll notice that some of the holes in the wheels have been flashed over with some chrome, and it's easily fixed. You just turn it over and then use a hobby blade to trim the flash out of the holes. And you could use an appropriate sized drill too in a hand vise. Now I added a little detail paint to the engine, which is molded into the chassis frame, well, the half engine, I used some Ford Blue and some aluminum paint to do this, and it isn't much, but it makes for a nicer appearance when you turn the model over and look at the underside. The wheels are molded pretty crisply, but there is a prominent center line that runs right through the center of that, so I used a hobby blade to kind of scrape that down and followed it up with some medium grit sandpaper, about a 300 grit, without risk of taking too much of the tread off, but then again, a lot of truck tires are pretty bald anyway, so I went ahead and got rid of the center lines the best I could with some sandpaper. Now go ahead and mount the rear axles to the frame and use some glue here to make sure that they stay in place. And mount the front axle to the frame there, and this needs a little finesse because you have to flex the springs to get it to mount into the notches on the frame. And I used a little liquid cement to make sure that it would stay, and notice that there seems to be a forward direction to the axle set that makes it fit better, although it doesn't seem to be indicated on the instructions. There's a notch in the leaf springs, and the section that is more raised should go towards the front of the vehicle. We can simply snap the wheels and the tires on per the directions, and then the frame and lower running chassis should be completed at this point. That's kind of awkward, but now it's time to snap the exhaust stacks and the drive shaft into place. We can snap the fifth wheel into place on the top side of the chassis, and that finishes up the chassis construction. Now you can begin to add some of the exterior details like the cab lights on top there. As you can see, they really add some color to the model. We also need to add the stickers at this time to facilitate and precede the installation of the grab handles. So use the instruction placement guide, start with the rear stickers for the grab handles, and then once in place, install the forward sticker on the driver's side, matching the lines to the rear stickers and lining up the door hinge opening. The tip of the sticker should be just above the front fender. Note that the sticker completely covers the AeroMax fender logo on this side, and on the passenger side the sticker is cut out where the side logo appears. The white arrow shows where you'll snap the fuel tanks into place, and use a little cement to make sure they stay in position. Then install the side panels onto them on each side. Snap the grille into place, and then snap the body onto the chassis using the large front and rear tabs and slots. A little liquid cement there will help ensure that it stays in position. Now we'll finish up with some details, and I painted the main door handles and the hood strap flat black, the fuel tank caps chrome, and the fifth wheel latch release chrome too. Now attach all the remaining grab handles and cab lights, the air horns, mud flaps, tail lights, and the license plates, etc. to finish up the build. There you have it. With a little extra work, you have a simple snap kit that you're proud to display. The only tricky thing about the whole kit was the installation of the front axle assembly. The entire kit was very well designed and went together flawlessly. There was very little flash, and the instructions were very clearly written. If you want to use the kit as a builder for the novice, just don't do the detailing and have fun watching them put it together. But if you want to have something that really looks like a showpiece for your shelf, go ahead and add as much detail as you see fit. As you can see, it came out pretty well, and I'm happy with the results. But I'm sure some of the semi-aficionados out there could do an even better job with even more detailing. We hope you like this premium step-by-step model kit review. And so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you can find us on Facebook, and as always, at our website, www.rightonreplicas.com. Thanks!